Hey everybody, it's your friend ECW fan, and yeah, you're getting another video in October. And this one was actually one where I was on the road and I had went to a Goodwill and a couple antique stores. And I know a lot of people out there go, what can you find at antique stores? Because usually a lot of the times comics are priced way up there. They're priced insane. But here, I was able to find some good, cheap books and not have to pay an insane amount. Also, I found some movie and a couple cool games there. And one game I'll detail that is not exactly the best game in the world. So I'm going to start with the comics first, and then we'll go on to the movies and the games. And I did buy one CD at a Goodwill, and it was Private Parts. It was a Private Parts soundtrack from the movie that Howard Stern. It had a couple good songs on it from AC/DC and Cheap Trick. And I was like, well, I'm going to go ahead and pick this up. It had Marilyn Manson on there. And this looks pretty good. It's worth picking up. And it has his show cut into it as well, so that's a pretty nice little touch to have. If you haven't seen Private Parts, it's from the 90s, really good. I enjoy the movie a lot. It has a nice ending. It's sad to say that, a few years later, that things changed, but I'm not going to spoil it if you haven't watched it. But to start the comics off, I actually found 2 issues that came out last year of Fantastic Four, and Eddie has these, and he showed me these when he picked them up at the comic book store, and I was very irked because I think he got these at Scarefest when we went to the shop. I was really irked because I love these Fantastic Four covers. It's Fantastic Four 12 and 13 where he fights the Immortal Hulk, and they didn't have no more, and I was so like, oh man, I want to get that because I like to see the Thing in the Hulk fight. And if you haven't read Immortal Hulk, it's really a good series. I got the first 20-some issues, and I had to cut it through the budget cuts. It has some great stuff in it. It's a really good take on the Hulk. I don't want to give it away, but I do like that they brought a character back with a little bit of a twist. If you follow the 1970s TV series of the Hulk, there's a character there. This reporter that chases after the Hulk to get the truth about it. Well, they changed it to a woman, but it was a nice little twist, a nice little wink to the past there. And I really like that. So let's keep going here. I was going to put that up there, but another one I picked up. Now these couple issues I was with Eddie, by the way. Me and Eddie was together, and we detailed it that we actually got these from a guy that we usually buy from, and Eddie's known him for years, and I've added him on Facebook, and he's pretty cool, and he sells movies, but he had some comics. He said, y'all come over and look at some comics I got. And we got some movies and comics off of him, and he was really cheap on his comics. But I'm going to go ahead and show some of these off, and one of them is Predator from 1989. Eddie said, you need to pick that up if you don't have it. And I went ahead and done it, because I don't have this series. Dark Horse had the Predator license, had Aliens, had Star Wars, had Conan, and one by one, those properties all have come back to Marvel. And Marvel will be doing a Predator and Alien series now. They have the properties now. Another one I picked up, and this was what really irked me, was I've got Hellblazer Rebirth. It's hard to believe it's been 4 years. It seems like yesterday when DC did Rebirth. And it had such high hopes for it. And I really thought that, hey, this is DC rebounding. They're coming back. They're going to do a really kick-A series. It's going to be top-notch when they do Doomsday Clock. The build to it. And it just fell apart. It was just chaos behind the scenes, too much changes, guys want this in, and guys, no, we can't do this, we got to do this. It just fell apart. and Hellblazer, the series in 2016. And one of the biggest problems I think DC's had is getting rid of Vertigo. Now, it's true, Warner Brothers just didn't value the Vertigo imprint like they should have. Vertigo was one of those imprints that really launched a lot of good books out there. Preacher, Sandman, Hellblazer, Fables. It's just that as time went on, the imprint in the 2000s just started to get, Warner Brothers started stepping in. It's like, no, let's move the books, let's move characters like Swamp Thing and Black Orchid, and let's move them all back to, and Doom Patrol back to the main DC universe. And the contracts changed, and people could get better deals at Image and Dark Horse to do creator-owned books. Then you had Karen Berger and Shelley Bond leave, and Vertigo become a shell of itself. And once Fables decided to end, it was over. The label, the imprint was done. But the grandfather title was Hellblazer, and it's just never recaptured that. Constantine is the character; it's just never recaptured it. I could talk about Hellblazer. That's a dream run I'm working on. I want to get all 300 issues. I think I need like 100 issues left to get that whole series. So, and they're not important issues. They're like in the 100s and 200s in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna work to get those. I got Daredevil number 12 from Marvel Knights. If anybody don't remember, there's a little spot right there. Okay, little Marvel Knights. Joe Quesada has developed this character and created it called Echo. And Echo has taken a bigger and bigger role. And I think there's a rumor she's going to be in the new series, one of the Marvel series. That's a rumor I think I heard. If so, she's a really decent character and was one of the nice ones created in the Marvel Knights Daredevil launch. I miss Marvel Knights. I really do. That's one imprint I always liked within Marvel, was how they really brought Daredevil, the Inhumans, Black Panther, and just shifted them to the Marvel Knights thing to get them a good little boost. And the final book I got from that guy with Eddie was Aliens, Colonial Marines number 1. Oh yeah, nice little cover. Nice little cover. So that's it on that. Now let's keep moving. I'm trying to go quick. I got this at an antique store, and it was cheap. I think 50 cents. It was Superior Iron Man number 1. Tony Stark in the white silver armor. I think they was trying to do what Superior Spider-Man had done, so he was trying to do that with Iron Man. Moving on, I picked up. Now, I didn't pay this price for it. I peeled off the sticker because it was hanging right here, and I peeled it off because I hate when books have that. It was Doom Patrol 41. I'm working on my dream Grant Morrison run of Doom Patrol, and if you haven't read Grant Morrison's Doom Patrol, it's really a unique series. Crawling from the wreckage, there's a lot of fun stuff, and I'm sure that we're going to see the Doom Patrol do a lot of Morrison stories, and it's going to be probably out there. I really want to see how they do the painting that ate Paris. That's going to be really a unique one. How would that translate to TV? That's going to be, if they ever decide to do that, that's going to be weird. I picked up 2 Iron Man issues. I picked up issue 175 of Iron Man, when Jim Rhodes was Iron Man and Tony Stark was out drinking. And issue 195. Now this was unique. They actually went about 2 years without Tony Stark being Iron Man. I think from 160 something all the way to 200. So that was a unique little twist to have Tony Stark, fall from grace with alcoholism and finally have to admit he had a problem. Jim Rhodes become Iron Man a while, as we can see with this cover. Moving on, I picked up, now this is really a weird title. I have no clue. I've never heard of this character. I'm going to have to Google it. It's the first issue of Nightcat. I have no clue who Nightcat is. I just know that, man, she looks like a little bit like Elektra, and it's like they're trying to do a version of Catwoman with the cats around, and I have never heard of this singer. They said she's America's hottest singing sensation. I have never heard of Black Cat. I'll have to look it up and see who this is. Now, here's one I picked up, and I'll get a DC Who's Who for special issues. Like, I've got the one with Superman with all his supporting cast of characters and stuff, and I'm trying to make sure. Yeah, okay. So, with this, I wanted to get, I've got the Batman one too. So, I've got Batman, Superman. I wanted to get the Legion, and this is number 13. The Legion, DC Who's Who 13 with the Legion of Superheroes. And I really like that. I like that we see Lois Lane interviewing Lightning Kid, or Lightning Lad, or Live Wire, or whatever they called him after so many times. Now here's one from the 80s, and it's really weird to see that Archie put this out. It's Lancelot Strong, S.H.I.E.L.D. Now, front cover looks like a typical heroic cover. The back cover looks like a nuclear bomb has went off, and the shield and this woman has been caught in it, which is pretty dark for a series with, for an Archie Red Circle series. Now, I have this series. I have number 5. I actually got this years ago, and I have seen 2 through 4. It's Time Warp, and it only ran 5 issues, like I said. And I've got the final issue, and I found the first one, so I just need to get 2 through 4 and complete it. Nothing important. They're just from 1979, some sci-fi stories, more or less. Now, I picked this one up for a cover. The cover's got a little spot, but I can upgrade it later if I like the story enough. But I picked this one up because this has Superman, the Legion of Superheroes, and I'm going to let you read the blurbs of it real quick. This is the old heroes' home. The home for old superheroes. Yeah. This is Action 386. Yeah. Yeah, it's just a weird cover. Weird. I like these old Silver Age stories where they just had some weird stuff thrown in. And one issue I picked up, and it was a couple bucks, and I'm glad it was, cheap, because I didn't realize it at the time, but it has little red pin marks, and I didn't notice it with the lighting in the antique store. This is Hawkman number 18 with an early Adam Strange appearance. Yeah. I didn't notice the red pin marks because I guess my eyes didn't notice it. I just noticed the white, and it's like, man, that's a cool cover. That's really nice. And you'll have people draw on issues at times and put their names on it. And that don't really bother me if it's cheap enough. If I'm getting them for $1, I've seen people get mad about that and like, oh no, they put their name on it. And I'm like, I'm used to it. If it's cheap enough. I mean, I've seen people throw a fit and whine and talk about how the name's on it, and I can understand it if you're paying way up there. But if it's just something cheap, I don't bother. It don't bother me. I can upgrade this one later if the story is good. It's like the Superman issue. And the final issue I picked up was Adventure Comics 359 with the Legion of Superheroes, the end of the Legion. And that's another property I think DC is really screwed up on. I couldn't tell you anything about the Legion of Superheroes. The last time I picked them up was right before the Flashpoint reboot. And they were redoing the old Legion. And it acted like the 5 years later had never happened. It was confusing, it was mind-boggling, but it was DC. Some stuff happened, some didn't. And with the Legion, I always liked the classic Legion. I always liked when Jim Shooter wrote it. And he was really, you know, and it's hard to believe, 13 years old, and have that talent to write the Legion of Superheroes. Now we're going to move on over to the... But before we get to the movies and games, I know, I thought I was done, but there's actually 2 books I found at the Goodwill for $1. And a piece. And this is Your Career in Comics, which has stories from Bill Watterson, Charles Schultz, the guy who made The Wizard of Oz. I mean, all kinds of cool stories. Has cartoons in it. Hal Ketchum, Dennis the Menace. I mean, this is pretty nice. I really like this for $1, and I saw it and I picked it up. Another thing I picked up, and I was really happy to find this, and I tried to find the other volumes of it, but somebody must have snatched them, or they just had the 1 volume. It is Scholastic Series, number volume 9 of Bone. And this was actually from 2009. It's been 11 years ago. And Scholastic had all 9 volumes of Bone, as you can tell. I have the first 12 or 15 issues of Bone. And then I got the Image reprints to go back through if I missed any issues. I think I'm missing like 1 or 2 in the first 15, maybe. So that helped me. But Bone itself was a great series by Jeff Smith. I heard it's going to Netflix. It's finally going to get an animated series, and it really deserves one, because Bone itself was a beautiful, beautiful story. Those first 15 or 20 issues I got from cartoon books and Image were really nice. So I'm really happy, and I was happy to find this collection here, Crown of Thorns, and I believe this just finishes up the series, which is really nice to see. I'm very happy to pick it up. Now we're going to get to the movies, and there's only 2 of the movies, and both of them came from a Goodwill, and one of them has never been opened, but I'm going to show you the DVD first. And if you're a fan of the 80s, you have to love Revenge of the Nerds, and I would do that laugh, but I suck. I cannot do that laugh. That laugh by David Carradine was just so perfect. I mean, it was on par, son, as they say. I love the first Revenge of the Nerds. The first Revenge of the Nerds was really a good frat movie. I mean, it was R-rated. It was really cool. I mean, it didn't care. I mean, it was really what it was in the early 80s. Well, they made more of these movies. I think they made 3 or 4 sequels, and it just never was that good after that. There was Revenge of the Nerds 2, I think Nerds in Paradise after it, and I think by the 4th one they had them all having kids and stuff, and it was just weird, you know, that they just kept going with it, and it just didn't really work to me. It's like the police academies. After a certain point, you need to stop, because the laughs ain't there no more. Even though I love Police Academy, I love more of the Police Academy movies than I did the Nerds movies. That's just me. But one that was never opened Blu-ray wise was The Road Warrior. I have no clue why they never did open this one. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Breathtaking. An astonishing masterpiece. And I believe I have this on DVD. I believe. I know I've got it, and I got the last Mad Max film. And Mad Max was one of those fun characters, and how they done it. Now, finally, I'm on to the 2 games I picked up. And I picked up one at the antique store. Then I got one from a GameStop. And I had 2 coupons, so I used it on the GameStop. But in the antique store I went to, they actually have a video game booth. And that's just weird, you know. Video games in an antique store. But this was there. And it looked like a pretty cool booth. They had figures, and one of the games I had in the back of my mind to get was after I seen Angry Joe talk about it. And it was Duck Dynasty. Hunt, race, and prank to become a Robertson. I remember Angry Joe said this is the worst game he's ever played. He hated this game. I think it was 2014 or 2015 when he discussed this game. And from what he said, it was a very terrible game. And I was like, well, I like bad games if they're cheap enough. Because I've got Ride the Hell Retribution. So I was like, I'm going to go ahead and get this game. It was cheap enough. They had a sale in the booth, so I was able to get it. And if I was somebody, I wouldn't pay full price. Can you imagine if they was charging $40 or $60 for this? Man, I would feel cheated from what I saw. But yeah, I always liked the Duck Dynasty characters. I mean, you have to like people that, have the cool beards, rocking a beard. I'm trying to convince Eddie to grow. I think we could do it. Maybe we can convince Eddie one day. But yeah, they had a good. I watched the first season or two of Duck Dynasty, and it had some nice, likable family members. The family all seemed to get along, and that was what I really liked. So, I can't blame them for trying to cash in on a game. They thought the game would probably be better than it was. But a game that I heard good things about, and even Daryl told me when I picked it up, he said, man, I picked that. He said, that's going to be good. It is Life is Strange 2. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've got the first two Life is Strange games. Life is Strange and Life is Strange Before the Storm. And the first game is great. I mean, they should make a TV series about it. And I heard there's rumors about that. But it's really good. Second one, not so much. The second one just doesn't have a very cool aspect to it. And you're basically like, do they really need to make a game of this? Was there really a need for a game of this? Because the whole time I'm thinking this is going to be a road trip game, but instead it's just there's nothing there. There's just nothing there. I mean, it's just a game about two girls getting to know each other, and fate would happen sadly. But Life is Strange 2, I heard it's about two brothers, so it should be good. I can't wait to play it. I can't wait to sit down and get down and play it. And it's also got the free Captain Spirit game. But Daryl told me, he said, you're going to like that game. I'm going to play it today. Because, like I said, I like playing the Life is Strange games. But overall, that's it. That's all the comics, movies, and games haul. Nothing major. No major first appearances. Just some good fill-in issues for some runs I had. And some cool covers and stories that I can't wait to read. Plus, hey, the nerds, buddy. Revenge of the Nerds. You guys have a good one, and take care out there.